Hi, everybody. It's Christina Quick, the Tarot Biz Mentor, here from the Profitable Psychic Divination and Business Academy. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's been a couple weeks since I've had a new video come out, so I wanted to put together something really fun and interesting for you guys to try out. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 fun, easy, and free games that you can play to enhance your psychic predictive powers, because who doesn't want to do that, right? It sounds like it's a lot of fun. And I actually play these games with myself all the time. I play them with friends, and the best part is that you can play them completely by yourself, and you can do it really inconspicuously as well. So it's like you can do it but not draw a lot of attention to yourself. So that's really cool too. And it will help you hone in your psychic predictive powers, right? It will help you with your accuracy, which is really fun and interesting as well. And also, it includes some random variables, so it can go like as simple, or it can go really difficult. You can increase the level, I suppose, at which you play by doing it in different ways, and I'll explain a little bit more about that, which eventually that will make you even more accurate, and it'll increase your ability to perceive a lot of different types of information. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first game is called Psychic Radio. And this is one of my favorite ways to play just by myself. It's really easy. All you do is you can play it in a couple different ways, but the general idea is that you're going to try to predict the next song that's going to come on the radio. And so you can try to predict the actual song, or you can try to predict like maybe some of the lyrics, or maybe the name of the song, or who's singing it, or the genre of music, or if it's a male singer or a female singer, or if there's multiple voices, you know what I mean? So you can really do this in a lot of different ways, and it can provide a lot of interesting insights. And so one way you can do this is if you have like a iPhone or a smartphone or an iPod or something along those lines. You can just load it with a bunch of different types of music. I want to say Spotify also has like a random option. So if you can put it on shuffle. So if you are also like a member of like Pandora or some of these other internet radio places, you can utilize it that way by typing in like a brand new station, or like going to like top hits, or putting it on a station that's like not so much like what you normally listen to, but like a station that's like top dance hits or something along those lines, or put it on 80s music or something, something like where you're not doing like you're not trying this with some like a station that you listen to all the time, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. You already kind of have a little bit of a bias that you kind of know the songs that kind of come on that station. So if you can do this in a way that it's really random, like doing it like on an iPod on shuffle, or doing it in some other way. You can also do this in a really fun way too, is anytime you get into the car. So if your car is like mine, it's a newer model. I think I have like a 2017, but you can basically turn on the car and the radio will start without the radio will start without turning on the flipping on the whole engine. So what you can do is you can practice this game a couple times. So you could like basically put the station at some random station, and make sure it's a music station, but you can put it on a random station, and then just turn your key, and then just try to predict the next song that's going to come on. Try to use a radio station that you don't really listen to, and sit with yourself and try to meditate into that, and try to pick out like who's the singer, what genre is it, what are some of the lyrics, what's the theme of it, is it like a love song, or is it some other type of song, right? So that's one game that you can play, and you can play it anywhere. And you can also play this like when you go into shopping malls, or you go into stores or something like that, that have the radio going. You can play it in the same way, where you can, before you step into the store, you can think about like, is there a song playing, and try to get information about that song, and then walk in, and then you can get validated that way. So that's a really fun game. It doesn't take very much of time or energy to play, and it's something that you can kind of just do in your head, and it's a lot of fun, and you'll find that you'll begin to be able to figure out like at least what kind of music it is, or sometimes it's even so spot on. I've even had it to where the exact same song, or it'll come across in a different way, whereas like I won't be intentionally doing it, but I'll have a song stuck in my head like for days and days, and then I'll just hear it like everywhere I go. So that's another clue that you are kind of playing this game, and maybe you're doing it on a more unconscious or subconscious level. So it's a lot of fun. Try it. Okay, so the second game is called Psychic Telephone, and there's a couple different ways that you can play this as well. So the one of the easiest ways you can play it is you can have your phone, you can just with you, and then just before you go to answer it, or you can lay your phone upside down, so you can't see who's calling. Is whenever you have someone calling in, try to predict who it is, and this is a little bit more complicated because it can work in a way that if you already have a psychic connection with someone, if you have like a friend or family calling or something like that and you know it's them, you just know, like you already have that psychic connection. So try to do it, try to do it in a way that like you're paying attention to it during times and situations where you wouldn't necessarily get a call from that person, right? So you can even play it with telemarketers too. Like you can play, is this a telemarketer or is this a legitimate phone call? So you can play it like that. You can also do this in more an advanced way if you kind of want to work on your telepathy skills a little bit, your psychic telepathy skills. What you can do is you can focus on someone, identify one person that, that would actually reach out to you, and think about them and meditate on them and actually like visualize them picking up the phone and texting you or calling you and visualize that whole experience and try to manifest that. It's a really fun manifestation game that I've played before. And you'll be surprised. Usually within 2 or 3 days, that person is going to call you. And it just depends on, how long you're going to have to hold that manifestation thought. But yeah, so that's a really fun way that you can also play that. But it obviously it works with people you have a better connection with. Like if you know your mom is calling when your mom's calling, or your sister or your best friend, try to do it with in times that in situations where you wouldn't be receiving calls with them. And that's the best advice I can give you regarding that game, so that your personal bias isn't really influencing it. All right, so the third game that I want to talk about is psychic aura reading. And I love psychic aura reading. I usually teach a class at least once a year about how to do psychic aura readings. And I'm pretty much due to teach that class here pretty soon. So keep an eye out. I may have that available here within the next couple months, maybe over summer. I might do psychic summer camp again or something along those lines. But when you are meeting up with friends or family, try to read the person's aura. So before you even meet in person, try to meditate and reflect on and try to get psychic information about that person's aura, their energetic field. So, and within that, I mean, you can tap into so many different things. Some of the easier things to tap into are like mood, like how would they be feeling that day? Are they having an up day or a down day? Or, are they frustrated or are they happy? What kind of mood are they having? You can also tap into physical things like what color shirt are they wearing or what kind of outfit would they be wearing, that sort of thing. You can do that. Or you can even try to predict what the conversation is going to be about. You can try to predict like a theme of the conversation, or what you guys are actually going to be talking about and working through. This one's a little bit more difficult, I think, because someone you're meeting, you might have a little bit of a bias. Like you might know that even if you don't know consciously, you may know subconsciously that that person, may be feeling a certain way about something, or maybe they're dressing a certain way because that's how they've done it in the past. So if you want to try to do this without personal bias attached to it, what you can do is you can do like people watching. Like you could go to a park, or you could park somewhere in a parking lot, like around like a big department store and like a four-way street sign or something like that, where there's a lot of people coming and going. And what you could do is you could do it that way. You could people watch and you could try to predict like who the next person you're going to see is. Now, if you're in a crowded place, that's a little bit more difficult. But if you do this in like a park or something where it's like not as crowded, and you're like, okay, the next person that I'm going to see walking by this trail is going to be male or female. They're going to be about this age and they're going to be wearing this, right? So try to like find somewhat quiet places that you can kind of do this. Alternatively, if you're not really into people watching, you can do this with cars. So you could, if you find yourself somewhere out and about where you are seeing cars going around, you could certainly do that, especially down, not so busy streets or something like that. You could also do it like trying to predict the card that's going to be in front of you when you get to a certain place. Like, you can kind of work with it in different ways. So you can do this with cars, you can do it with different things, like just generally trying to predict like what something is going to be in a future present tense. So really fun, really interesting. And one bonus exercise, I'm going to give you another one. So the fourth one, the bonus one is, which happens to be one of my favorites, one of my guilty pleasures that I love, is I love watching true crime shows and true crime documentaries, and I love to predict who is guilty, especially if you have those shows like it could be this person or it could be that person. I love to, me and my husband, we love to watch true crime shows and documentaries, and we love to like try to figure out who is actually the guilty party, or if they actually did it or if they didn't do it, or what their actual motive is, and you know, different aspects to it like that, different aspects to the crime shows. So that is 3 or 4 fun games that you can play that's easy and free, and that you can do it, you know, quite easily. You don't really need a lot of things to do it other than just a couple simple resources to do it. So I hope that you liked this video. I hope that you got something out of this. I wonder, do you play any psychic games? Do you do any of these kind of weird little games that you play? I remember when I was young, my mother, she owns her own business still, but she would get huge packages. Like back then it was like PR packages, but she would just get these huge like packages. I'd walk into the back stock room and there would just be piles of packages, right? And so one thing I really liked to do when I was little is I liked to grab a box and try to figure out what it was. And then I would go and tell my mom and say, okay, mom, this is a shirt, or this is something else along those lines. And funnily enough, a lot of the times I was pretty accurate. So I don't know if you have a situation around you that you deal with unknown packages or something along those lines that you could play that sort of game with. But yeah, there's also a bunch of different online games that you can play for different types of psychic abilities, not just predictive. But in the future, I will show you some different ways that you can do it. I've played, there's certain like programming games out there that they have, especially I think some of them are from the Noetic Institute, if I remember correctly. This is kind of a long time ago. But I played this one game where it was really fun, where basically you would go on this website and you would try to predict what the computer is going to show you. It would show you a random picture. And I played it 10 times, and the random picture was like, it could be literally anything. I mean, I couldn't even tell you the statistics of what this could possibly be. I couldn't even tell you like how crazy it is that I actually got 1 in 10 of those bang on. Like I actually got the photo of what it was. And that was one of the most incredible moments of my life. And it was, it came through, it was the Statue of Liberty actually. And it came through as smelling of coffee and hearing the docks. And basically I was, you know, remote viewing into New York City. And that was one of the most profound psychic experiences, validating psychic experiences that I've ever had personally, which was really cool and really fun. And I will try to find those websites, and then I will create another video that will give you guys some more games and some more fun activities that you can play. So I'm curious, in the comments below, let me know if you play any games, and let me know if you decide to play any of these games that I've talked about today. And if you do, let me know how that goes for you. I'm really curious. I'm really interested in what your results are. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.